Hello viewers, thanks for coming back to my channel. Congratulations to us all. We've made it to the last episode of the PELETE Way in less than 6 months. We should all pat ourselves on the backs and give a thumbs up. So let's do a quick review on each step. In step 1, we talked about how to prepare or do your homework first before approaching your opponents, a disgruntled worker, or corporate buyers to resolve an issue or negotiate a business contract. Once you're ready with your solutions or options to deal with the situations, you need to make sure the opponent's willing to speak with you about the problem or discuss business opportunities. You can disarm your opponent and win over his cooperation by making small talk and listen attentively to his side of the story, or establish a new business contact with potential buyers by making small talk, for example, before the formal meeting begins to build a relationship. The two sides stay connected and continue to exchange their opinions. At some point when you see fit, you can then offer your options or solutions to end the problem or come to an agreement with your opponents. If it still doesn't work out, the two sides need to modify their attitudes and work together to discuss possible options to compromise to end the problem or reach an agreement. That's the first 5 steps so far of the PELETE Way that we have covered. Step 6, execute. This is the final step in the PELETE Way communication exercise. So what does it mean to execute? To execute, it means to carry out your final act and conclude the negotiation. And your final act means either an agreement of mutual satisfaction or your BATNA, which is your plan B, your backup plan, what you will do if no agreement can be reached. So let's talk about the 2 main reasons at this point for refusing to compromise. First, your opponent's BATNA is better than yours. If so, why should he accept your offers? To solve this problem, you need to go through the problem-solving exercise. And again, you can't solve the problem without first identifying it. The problem is most likely related to his interests. So what you need to do is you need the market intelligence or community wisdom to help you identify his interests. Then you need to conduct a matrix analysis on interests, the underlying hidden interest for not coming to an agreement, which should fall within one of the basic human interests as follows. A. Security, safety. B. Economic well-being. C. A sense of belonging. D. Recognition, and so on. Once you identify your opponent's true interest, then start discussing and inventing options with your opponents for a compromise. Let's see an example of matrix analysis on interests. An example of matrix analysis on interests. Here we have the standard format for matrix analysis on issues. On the left, basic human interest we identify. 1. Security, safety. For example, A. Job security, or B. Work environment. And then for each item, you put in your plus or minus consideration. 2. Economic well-being. We identify A. Paid adjustment on an annual basis, or B. Guaranteed bonus at the end of the year for all employees. 3. A sense of belonging. We identify, for example, mutual respect. B. Equal treatment, such as people like to be treated as an equal as opposed to being discriminated against. 4. Recognition. A. Give due credits. People like to see management give due credits to people. Or B. Openness. Or like to see things conducted in openness as opposed to under the table. Then we have values, fairness, justice, moral. 6. Control over one's life. Maybe you don't like your life to be dictated by your professional life or something else. So for each item, you put in your plus or minus into this table and review it. The second main reason is your opponents just don't see the light. What does that mean? It means your opponents don't see or identify the problems and their consequences, impacts. And you need to help him see the problems. How? Let's digress for a minute here. To see the problems, your opponents or people in general need to go through the learning process or the management awakening process. What's that? The learning process, or similarly, the management awakening process. This is the process or 4 steps that people have to go through if they want to learn or confront serious issues successfully. A. Don't know what I don't know. That's first step. Or just don't see the light. Or unknown since it hasn't happened yet. Or don't recognize what the problems are. The above 4 sentences actually means the same thing from different angles. Let's see some examples. 1. I don't know that I have cancer until it's too late. 2. No one knows what's going to happen tomorrow. 3. The CEO doesn't know about the serious communication problems within the company. This is not uncommon to companies when the senior management know nothing about the problems that are festering. Maybe no one dared to tell them the truth without getting hurt themselves. It really depends on the attitude of the senior management, such as prejudice and arrogance, preconceived notions, or deliberately misled by members of his inner circle. B. Know what I don't know. Or acknowledge what the problems are. For example, according to the test results, I now know that I have cancer. The CEO knows about the communication problem. Maybe he managed to find out somehow. C. Decide to learn what I don't know. Or decide to remedy the problems. After you fully understand the scopes of the issues, you make a decision to learn or fix the problem. Motivation is the driving force. What is your motivation to fix the problem? Examples are, I've decided to take the medical X-ray treatments, and my motivation is to stay alive for a few more years. Or, the CEO decides to fix the serious communication problems, and his motivation could be for better management of the company. But it's not enough. If you decide to learn or decide to fix something, you also need to take actions. D. Take actions to learn what I don't know. Take actions to fix the problems. Don't just talk and no actions were taken. Like people's New Year resolutions. I decided to lose 20 pounds this year, but no actions were taken. If you take actions, your attitudes dictate how well you will learn things or how well you will fix the problems. For example, for my health, I vow to adhere to the strict medical treatments and healthy diets. No more fast food for me. I take actions to give up junk food. Or, the CEO allocates lots of resources to form a task force to help fix the problems. That's the learning or management awakening 4 steps. So let's see how we can help the opponents to see the light. If your opponent still refuses to compromise, to help him see the light, you need to educate him. Show him the consequences, the impacts, if no agreement can be reached. How? 1. Point out the hidden underlying interests, such as the attorney's fee if the legal route is taken, tax breaks, generous loans from the city government if you accept the offer, efficiency, risks, costs, benefits, credibility, self-image, company, personal reputation, and so on. Then ask him about the hidden underlying interests. Have you thought about your financial risk? Do you know about the costs will increase? Do you realize how expensive the attorney's fees can be? What about your corporate image? Have you thought about your overall costs? 2. Give subtle warnings. 1. Express your warnings, not threats, with tact. Let's see some comparisons. Threat. Your overall cost will put you out of business in 6 months if you don't, versus your overall cost will increase by at least 15% by my estimation. Threat. Your corporate image will be ruined if you don't, versus warning. What would other people think about your corporate image if you stick to your plan? Threat. You won't find any other suppliers here. Versus, we are the only supplier here. 2. Reveal your BATNA or Plan B to your opponents. Ask what would happen if we do this or that, or ask similar hypothetical questions. Let's see some BATNA matrix analysis. BATNA analysis example. Disgruntled workers' grievances. Here, the standard format for matrix analysis. On the left, we have analysis Party A's offer to Party B. 1. Add or revise specific guidelines to HR policy against discrimination. 2. Issue written warnings to future violators. The plus for Supervisor A will be improved HR policy. 2. Repeated violators are subject to job determination. 3. Maintained teamwork. 4. Violators apologize to Party B. The minus will be the policy guidelines are not retroactive. For Party B, the plus will be more severe punishment to future violators. The minus will be the new policies are not retroactive. So Party A's BATNA will be A. 1. All HR practices past and future are within legal boundaries. 2. Strong corporate legal department. The plus for Party A will be no violation of labor laws. 2. Evidence of Party B's dishonesty. The minus will be loss of time and resources on lawsuits. Party B's BATNA will be 1. Take the violators and the company to court. 2. Ask his friends to testify. The plus for Party B will be receive financial compensations. 2. Dignity restored. The minus will be the attorney's fees. 2. No credible witnesses to testify. 3. Lack of physical evidence. There you have it. You can see the analysis of BATNA on a typical matrix analysis. Example 2. Business deal BATNA analysis. Here again, we have the standard matrix analysis. We have vendor A versus manufacturer A. Vendor A's offer to manufacturer A is client access to all products, 20% discount, priority service, 5-year contract. For vendor A, the plus will be to expand the market share by 10%. Also, their product will gain brand recognition. The minus will be marginal profits for vendor A. For manufacturer A, the plus will be more products to the market, higher margin 15%. The minus will be high-risk contract duration, unstable delivery. Vendor A's BATNA. Vendor A managed to find another manufacturer B. Manufacturer B will accept the offer with 15% discount, priority serviced, 5-year contract. For vendor A, that BATNA will be more margins, 10% market share expansion. The minus will be less brand recognition. Manufacturer A's BATNA. Manufacturer A also managed to find a vendor B, which offer client access to limited quality products, 10% discount, 5-year contract duration. So for manufacturer A, the BATNA plus will be slightly better quality products. The minus will be only 2% margins, access to fewer quality products, high-risk contract duration. So there you have it, the BATNA matrix analysis, and you can analyze the plus and minuses and make the final decision. 3. If all failed, then execute your BATNA with the following considerations in mind. 1. Never burn the bridge. Leave on good terms. Don't lose your temper and get into a fight. Leave the door open. That means I'm ready to discuss whenever you are. Leave with a smile on your face before you part with your opponents in a meeting. 2. Be mindful of what you say with tact and respect. Remember the Spurs rules we talked about and your body language. Here are some examples for your reference. 3. Examples of closing words for unsuccessful negotiation. Example 1. I'm disappointed that we couldn't come to a mutual agreement, which I believe will benefit both of us. I will wait versus give you. I'll wait till Friday for you to reconsider my offer, and meanwhile, I'll explore my other options. Another example. I'm sorry we could not resolve the issues internally. Our team won't be the same without you. I'll hold the position for you till next Friday in case you change your mind. Meanwhile, I'll ask the HR to start working on the paperwork for your resignation. Once again, it's time to summarize our discussion in a graphic way. On the left, we started with parties A and B still staying engaged, talking but with no agreement reached. Then party A educates party B and makes him see the light, and the two sides reached an agreement with mutually acceptable options and shake hands. If not, still no agreement whatsoever. Each side executes its BATNA and do what they have to do. Settled in court internally, for example, let the legal system decide the outcome. There you have it, the entire courses of Introduction to the PELETE Way, Effective Communication and Negotiation. Closing remarks. I started the project Communication in Action in late December 2021, simply to kill time when the Omicron was wreaking havoc with a vengeance. It took about 6 months to organize and complete the project. It consists of 16 short video clips elaborating the basic principles of effective communication and negotiation, which I dubbed the PELETE Way. These principles are based on many years of practical experience with an overall balanced view of people skills, negotiation, business development, and corporate management and growth, all rolled into one. These principles work for me, and I believe they also remain true to communication, so I share them for your reference. People's attitudes are hard to change and are generally consistent with their beliefs, opinions, and biases. Your modified rational attitude, or what I called sound attitude, wisdom and experience, will help improve your communication skills and your chance to reach an agreement of mutual satisfaction with your opponents. The Communication in Action is an educational program designed for your intellectual entertainment. So the best way to understand the PELETE Way principles is to follow the episodes diligently and sequentially so that you won't feel lost or confused in your viewing of the episodes. In many ways, the communication and negotiation are like a problem-solving exercise in which their principles are similar while the approaches vary from person to person. You and your opponents are constantly entangled in the cycle of problem-solving exercise until investigations are made, problems are identified, solutions are invented, and actions are taken to fix the problem. And you can see the corresponding paraphrases in dark red. Thanks for watching. Let's keep on communicating. This is Peter Chang, wishing you every success in your communication effort. Good day and good luck.